They expect you to stay broken. They expect you to drown in loss, to collapse under the weight of what has been stripped from you. When you lose everything, the world quietly assumes you are finished. But they are wrong. The moment of loss is not your grave. It is your forge. It is the place where the weak vanish and where the strong are reborn. Machiavelli understood this truth. Fortune is fickle. Power shifts, wealth burns, allies betray. Everything external can be taken from you in an instant. But the man who remains standing when stripped of all things, he is the one who becomes untouchable. For when you lose everything, you gain the rarest weapon, the freedom to rebuild without illusion. No masks, no dependence, only raw will. This is not about revenge. This is not about proving the world wrong. This is about proving yourself inevitable. The ashes are not your end. They are your beginning. You rise not with what was taken, but with what you create from within. And when you rise from nothing, you rise with power no one can ever take again. So here is where it begins. Comment below your first declaration, a phrase of power that marks your rebirth, something unshakable, something that says, I rise from nothing and I will become more than everything I lost. Number 1. The discipline of rebuilding. Strength after loss is not a miracle. It is not born in a single heroic moment or in one dramatic breakthrough. True strength is built in the quiet grind, in the relentless march of discipline. And discipline, when you've lost everything, is not just a tool. It is salvation. It is the bridge between ruin and resurrection. Understand this: when you are broken down to nothing, inspiration will not save you. Motivation will not last. What will carry you is the structure you impose on yourself, the cold order you carve from the chaos. Machiavelli warned that fortune is unstable, that men who rely on her gifts are eventually betrayed. If you tie your identity to possessions, status, or approval, you will collapse when they vanish. But if you tie it to discipline, to the unbreakable daily actions you command from yourself, then no loss can destroy you. Discipline of rebuilding begins with clarity. Ask yourself, what must I become? Not what do I want back? What must I build forward? The ruins are not there to be mourned. They are there to remind you that you cannot rebuild the same fragile structure. This time, every stone must be chosen with purpose. Every routine must be forged for power. Every choice must be made with precision. You must break your day into ritual. Wake with intent. Train the body with rigor, because strength of flesh becomes strength of spirit. Study with sharpness, because knowledge is leverage. Guard your time like treasure, because wasted hours are wasted sovereignty. These are not optional tasks. They are your new laws. Men who lack structure drown in uncertainty, but the man who builds a rigid frame around himself moves forward with clarity, even when the world is chaos. Rebuilding requires patience as much as fire. The weak crave immediate results. They want the ruins swept away in a single stroke. But power is not built that way. It is slow, methodical, repetitive, like hammer strikes shaping iron into steel. Each repetition matters. Each small act compounds. One day of discipline means little. 100 days turns you into someone new. 1,000 days makes you unrecognizable to the man you once were. This is the math of power. Consistency multiplied by time creates inevitability. But do not misunderstand. Rebuilding is not gentle. It demands sacrifice. You cannot carry the soft habits of your old life into this new empire. They must be cut away. The comfort that once dulled you, destroy it. The distractions that once weakened you, sever them. Every indulgence you deny sharpens your edge. Every weakness you burn becomes part of your armor. Discipline is not about denial for its own sake. It is about clearing space for power to grow. You will be tempted to drift back into old patterns, tempted to grasp at easy comforts, tempted to cling to what you lost. Resist. The sovereign does not bow to ghosts. He does not beg the past to return. He builds forward with ruthless focus. Each time you resist temptation, you are not just saying no, you are saying yes to the man you are becoming. And here lies the truth. Rebuilding is not about creating a life that looks the same as before. It is about creating a self so strong, so sovereign, that nothing can take him down again. You are not simply restoring what was lost. You are constructing something greater, something inevitable. Machiavelli wrote that men must learn to build their power on what they can control. Discipline is the one thing you always control. No one can give it to you. No one can steal it from you. Discipline is your weapon. Discipline is your crown. And when you wield it without compromise, you transform ruins into fortresses, despair into dominance, loss into rebirth. So now I ask you, what is your commandment? Write it. Declare it. Comment below a phrase that defines your discipline, not borrowed words, not hollow inspiration, your phrase. A sentence you can repeat each morning like a law, something sharp enough to remind you daily. I build, I rise, I endure, I am inevitable. Number 2, the power of strategic silence. Noise is the language of the weak. They speak constantly, hoping their words will cover their lack of substance. They argue endlessly, desperate to appear right rather than to be strong. They fill the air with chatter because silence terrifies them. Silence exposes their emptiness. But for the man who has lost everything and is rising anew, silence is not a void. It is a weapon. Strategic silence is one of the sharpest tools of power, and those who master it cannot be manipulated, cannot be read, cannot be controlled. Machiavelli warned that appearances matter, and nothing crafts appearances more sharply than what you withhold. Men believe power comes from speaking, but often it is the opposite. The ruler, the general, the strategist, they speak less, and when they finally open their mouth, the world listens. Words are like arrows. If you shoot them without aim, you waste them. But if you hold them, if you choose your moment, if you release them with precision, they strike deeper than 1,000 careless shots. The first law of silence is control. When you are silent, you are not reacting. You are not being pulled by anger, by fear, by the temptation to prove yourself. Silence is composure, and composure is dominance. The man who cannot control his tongue cannot control himself, and the man who cannot control himself is already ruled by others. But you will train yourself to pause, to wait, to hold your ground. That pause will become your armor. The second law of silence is perception. While others rush to fill space with words, you will observe. You will notice details they reveal in their nervous chatter, truths they expose without realizing it. Silence is intelligence. A quiet mind sees more, understands more, predicts more. When others are too busy talking, you will be too busy learning, and learning is leverage. The third law of silence is timing. A word spoken at the right moment carries the weight of 100 speeches. A single sentence, delivered with cold precision, can silence an entire room. A single declaration, held back until it matters, can shift the direction of conflict, negotiation, even destiny. Do not waste your voice in noise. Save it for the strike. Let others grow accustomed to your silence so that when you finally speak, it carries the force of inevitability. Understand this. Silence does not mean passivity. It is not weakness. It is not retreat. It is calculation. You are not ignoring. You are not disengaged. You are watching. You are storing energy. You are waiting for the exact moment when speaking or acting carries the greatest impact. This is what makes it strategic. It is not about saying less. It is about making each word an event. Strategic silence also shields you. The man who speaks endlessly reveals himself, his fears, his intentions, his doubts, his weaknesses. He gives his enemies weapons to use against him. But the man of silence is unreadable. He is a wall. People project their own fears and assumptions onto him, but they cannot see his hand. They cannot predict his strike. They cannot prepare for what they cannot read. Mystery becomes your defense. Even in loss, silence gives you strength. When you have nothing, the world expects you to cry out, to beg, to seek sympathy, resist, stay silent. Your silence will confuse them, disturb them, even intimidate them. They will not know what you are planning, whether you are broken or whether you are sharpening yourself in the shadows. That uncertainty becomes your power. But do not mistake silence for indifference. You are not silent because you don't care. You are silent because you are focused. You are silent because you are building. You are silent because your time will come, and when it does, you will strike with clarity while others are still busy talking. Strategic silence also trains your inner world. When you stop filling space with endless noise, you begin to hear your own mind. You begin to control your own thoughts instead of drowning them in chatter. Silence teaches you patience. Silence teaches you endurance. Silence gives you the space to grow where others stagnate. Think of the predator. The lion does not roar while stalking. The hawk does not scream as it circles above. The panther does not announce its presence. They wait. They study. They move only when it is time. That is power. That is silence weaponized. So, when you feel the urge to speak out of impulse, restrain yourself. When you want to explain your every move, hold back. When you are tempted to reveal your plans, stay quiet. Let your results speak. Let your presence speak. Let your discipline speak. This is the power of strategic silence, control over self, perception of others, timing of words, defense through mystery, and focus through restraint. Master it, and you will no longer be at the mercy of the world's noise. You will stand above it, untouchable, commanding attention without begging for it. Now I ask you, write in the comments your phrase of silence, a phrase that reminds you of your power to withhold, to wait, to strike only when necessary. Something sharp, something cold, something like, "My silence is strategy, my words are weapons." Or better, craft your own. Let it become your code. Number 3, the ruthless clarity of purpose. Purpose is the axis on which power turns. Without purpose, a man drifts like a ship without a rudder, tossed, turned, broken by every wave. With purpose, even the fiercest storms cannot move him off course. And when you have lost everything, purpose is not optional. It is law. It is the iron spine that will carry you through ruin into resurrection. Machiavelli knew that men without clear aims were prey. They chased distractions. They pursued 1,000 small desires, and in the end, they achieved nothing of weight. But the man with a single, ruthless purpose bends the world around him. His vision becomes the filter for every action. His focus becomes the blade that cuts through the fog. The first law of purpose is elimination. Most men think they need more goals, more options, more possibilities. But more is death, more scatters, more weakens. The strong man begins with subtraction. He cuts away the excess, the noise, the trivial desires that waste his energy. He keeps only what aligns with his higher aim. Purpose is not built by adding, purpose is built by carving. Once you carve away the unnecessary, you define the battlefield. What is the one pursuit that shapes everything else? It could be mastery of body, mastery of craft, mastery of influence, mastery of wealth. Whatever it is, it must be singular. Ruthless clarity means refusing to dilute your fire across a dozen shallow ambitions. You choose one arena, and you devote yourself to dominating it completely. The blade cuts sharp because it is narrow. So must your focus be. The second law of purpose is realism. Weak men drown in fantasies. They imagine themselves kings without building a throne. They live in daydreams and call it vision. But ruthless purpose is built on stone, not on air. You must see yourself and your world with cold clarity. Where are you weak? Where are you strong? What can be done and what cannot? Machiavelli taught that men who deceive themselves are the easiest to defeat. Do not lie to yourself. Strip away illusions. Build your purpose on what can be executed, not what can only be imagined. The third law of purpose is alignment. Every action, every choice, every habit must be measured against your aim. Ask yourself daily, does this strengthen me or weaken me? Does this move me closer to my purpose or pull me away? You cannot afford wasted movement. You cannot afford indulgences that dull your edge. This requires ruthless honesty. Sleep, diet, training, reading, work, relationships, all of it must fall under the rule of purpose. If it builds you, keep it. If it weakens you, cut it. Cold, precise, without apology. Purpose is not glamorous. Do not expect fireworks. Do not expect applause. Purpose is monotony. It is repetition. It is doing the same hard things day after day until they carve themselves into your identity. Weak men get bored and wander. Strong men fall in love with the grind because they know it shapes them into something unbreakable. The fortress is not built in a day. It is built stone by stone, stroke by stroke, until one day it towers. Purpose is the patience to lay those stones without pause. The fourth law of purpose is sacrifice. Mediocrity thrives on compromise. Men with no vision always try to pull you into theirs. They will call you extreme, obsessive, arrogant. They will ask you to slow down, to soften, to lower yourself to their level. If you bend, you lose. Ruthless clarity requires you to endure isolation, criticism, even hostility. The world will resist you because your purpose exposes their weakness. Let it. Purpose is not about being liked. Purpose is about becoming undeniable. The fifth law of purpose is endurance. The path will not be smooth. Obstacles will rise. Fortune will strike again. Most men scatter when this happens, but the man with ruthless clarity does not break. He bends but never loses direction. He turns setbacks into weight, using them to strengthen his frame. His clarity becomes his compass. While others wander in panic, he walks forward with calm inevitability. The sixth law of purpose is sovereignty. Purpose frees you from dependence on others for meaning. Men without purpose live for approval, for validation, for recognition. But a man with clarity does not beg for direction. He does not seek constant reassurance. He does not need applause. His aim is his guide. His vision is his crown. His work is his proof. He rules himself, and that sovereignty makes him untouchable. Purpose also gives you power over time. Most men waste it. They scatter their hours on trivial pleasures and distractions. But when your aim is clear, every hour sharpens you. Every minute becomes a stone in your foundation. Time, once your enemy, becomes your ally, because you know exactly where it is being invested and you know exactly what it is building. This is why ruthless clarity is feared. The world is full of men who drift, who scatter, who bend. When someone with clarity walks among them, he seems like an oak among weeds. He intimidates them without lifting a finger because his focus reminds them of their weakness. Let their fear feed you. Let their doubt sharpen you. You are not here to join the distracted. You are here to rule yourself, and through yourself, your fate. So now carve this truth into your mind. Purpose is your spine. Without it, you crumble. With it, you rise. No loss can break you if your purpose is unshaken. No betrayal can stop you if your vision is immovable. No storm can drown you if your aim is relentless. Purpose makes you inevitable. Now it is your turn. Write your declaration of purpose in the comments. Not vague dreams, not pretty words. A phrase of iron. Something that when you see it weeks from now, you will know. This is when I cut away weakness. This is when I chose my aim. This is when I became unstoppable. Number 4, the armor of emotional control. Power without emotional control is an illusion. It may look strong, it may appear unshakable, but the first storm will expose its fragility. A man can build strength, wealth, and vision, yet if he cannot command his own emotions, he will collapse at the slightest strike. Machiavelli observed that men are predictable because they are ruled by their passions: anger, fear, pride, desire. And what can be predicted can be controlled. If you wish to be sovereign, if you wish to rise untouchable after losing everything, then you must forge the armor of emotional control. The first truth is this: emotions are not enemies. They are forces. Anger is fire. Fear is shadow. Pride is glass. Desire is hunger. Left unchecked, they will rule you. But if you learn to direct them, they become weapons in your hands. The man who suppresses emotions becomes brittle. The man who commands emotions becomes unstoppable. Let us begin with anger. Anger is raw fire. It can incinerate, or it can forge. Weak men let anger consume them, lashing out blindly, burning everything they touch, including themselves. Strong men hold the fire. They trap it, contain it, and direct it into discipline. When life slams the door, when betrayal stings, when loss crushes, do not explode. Channel that fire into building, into training harder, into sharpening your craft. Let anger fuel creation, not destruction. Now consider fear. Fear is the chain that binds most men. They bow before it, calling it safety. They retreat, they hesitate, they surrender. But fear is not a wall. It is a compass. It points directly toward the battlefield you must enter if you wish to grow. The sovereign man does not run from fear. He studies it. He steps into it with steady breath. Each time you face fear, it loses strength. Each time you obey fear, it gains power. Let fear become the signal. Here is where I will sharpen myself. Pride, too, must be mastered. Pride whispers lies. You are already strong enough, already wise enough, already untouchable. It blinds men, making them brittle. They stop learning, they resist correction, and they collapse when tested. You must kill fragile pride and replace it with quiet confidence. Quiet confidence is not loud. It does not boast. It does not need recognition. It is the calm certainty of a man who has paid his dues in silence. Pride is glass, easily shattered. Confidence is stone, unbreakable. And then comes desire. Desire is the most seductive chain. It promises pleasure, comfort, satisfaction. Most men are enslaved by it. They chase every appetite, every indulgence, and in doing so, they lose their edge. Machiavelli wrote that men can be ruled by what they crave. If you cannot control desire, you can be bought, distracted, or broken. The sovereign man learns restraint. He delays gratification. He takes only what strengthens him. He is not numb. He feels desire fully, but he owns it. He indulges when it serves him, denies when it weakens him. That choice is power. When you forge emotional control, you gain composure. Composure is silent dominance. In chaos, when others panic, you remain steady. In conflict, when others explode, you speak with precision. In temptation, when others crumble, you hold your ground. Composure cannot be faked. It must be earned through mastery. And when you possess it, no one can bait you. No one can provoke you. No one can read you. You become a fortress. Training emotional control requires discipline. When emotions rise, do not react. Step back. Observe. Ask yourself, why do I feel this? What does this emotion want me to do? Does that action serve me or weaken me? In that pause lies your power. Direct the energy where you choose. Rage into action. Fear into growth. Desire into focus. Sadness into clarity. Every emotion is energy. The weak leak it everywhere. The strong channel it into power. This armor is invisible, yet it protects more than steel ever could. Words cannot pierce it. Insults cannot shake it. Storms cannot break it. When you master your emotions, you are no longer a puppet. You are sovereign. You move when you decide, not when impulses command. That is what makes you untouchable. Remember this law. The man who cannot control himself will always be controlled by others. But the man who commands himself cannot be broken, bribed, or bent. He is his own master, and that mastery is the highest form of power. Now it is your turn. Comment your declaration of emotional command, a phrase of iron, something like, I command the fire, I direct the fear, I own the hunger. Or better, craft your own law. Let it become your shield, your armor, your reminder that you are no longer ruled by impulses. You are the ruler of yourself. Number 5. The discipline of relentless action. Vision. Without execution is a lie. Plans without movement are coffins for wasted potential. The world is overflowing with men who think, men who speak, men who fantasize. But very few act, and fewer still act with relentlessness. Relentless action is the separator between the ordinary and the inevitable. It is not noise, not chaos, not reckless speed. It is the cold, disciplined march forward, day after day, until momentum itself becomes your weapon. Machiavelli observed that fortune favors the bold, but boldness without discipline is ruin. Boldness with discipline, however, is empire. If you want to become the strongest version of yourself after losing everything, you must learn the discipline of relentless action. The first law of relentless action is routine. Weak men treat their days like chance. They wake without direction, drift without aim, fill their hours with distractions, and wonder why nothing changes. But the sovereign man removes choice from his essentials. He sets his schedule as law: wake, train, study, work, not as options, but as mandates. Routine liberates him from hesitation. Routine kills doubt before it appears. Routine makes action automatic until discipline itself becomes identity. The second law is sacrifice. Relentless action has a price. Comfort must be cut. Entertainment must be reduced to ashes. Indulgence must be caged. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot worship comfort and power at the same time. Every time you deny a pleasure that weakens you, you add fuel to your rise. Every sacrifice sharpens your edge. The masses will call you obsessive, extreme, unnatural. Let them. Their weakness is not your concern. Your concern is motion, relentless, unbreakable motion. The third law is endurance. Starting is easy. The fire of motivation burns bright at the beginning, but motivation dies, excitement fades, and when it does, weak men stop. They tell themselves they will begin again tomorrow. Sovereign men do not stop. They move when they feel nothing. They advance when their body protests. They execute when their mind screams for rest. Each time you act without motivation, you carve resilience into your soul, and when others falter, you will rise. The fourth law is compounding. One strike does little, but 1,000 strikes shatter stone. One step is nothing. 1,000 steps become a distance unbridgeable. Relentless action compounds until what was once impossible becomes inevitable. Men quit too soon because they fail to respect the slow, quiet growth of compounding effort. But if you endure, if you persist, your actions will stack into power too massive to be ignored. The fifth law is precision. Relentless does not mean reckless. Action must be aligned with your purpose. If you scatter your energy, you bleed yourself dry. Focus is the filter. Every move must serve your vision. Audit yourself daily. Does this action build me or break me? Does it move me forward or keep me stagnant? Relentlessness without precision is chaos. Relentlessness with precision is destiny. The sixth law is resilience. Relentless action does not guarantee success on the first attempt. You will fall. You will fail. You will make errors. But failure is not defeat. Failure is refinement. Every time you fall and rise again, you are sharpening your edge. Every setback becomes instruction. Every rejection becomes weight you can lift. Weak men drown in failure. Strong men build empires from it. The seventh law is identity. Action creates who you are. Each repetition, each disciplined strike is not just progress, it is proof. When you act relentlessly, you engrave into yourself the truth that you are a man who moves forward regardless of resistance. That memory becomes armor. Confidence is not found in words. Confidence is found in the recollection of relentless execution. It is the certainty that you have already paid the price 1,000 times in silence. And finally, the eighth law, rest as discipline. Even the fiercest warrior must sharpen his blade. Rest is not indulgence. Rest is not escape. Rest is preparation. You rest so you can strike harder. You rest with structure, with intent, with strategy. The weak rest to avoid work. The strong rest to return with greater force. Relentless action is not about speed. It is not about frenzy. it is about inevitability. It is about becoming a force that never stops, never surrenders, never drifts. The world cannot resist such a man, because while others pause, you move. While others talk, you act. While others quit, you continue. And in the end, the one who continues is the one who conquers. Machiavelli wrote that men are judged by results, not intentions. History does not remember what you planned. It remembers what you did. The discipline of relentless action ensures you will not be forgotten. It ensures your ruins will not be your ending. It ensures you will rise stronger than before, not in words, but in results. Now, carve this into yourself. Hesitation is death. Relentless action is life. Do not wait. Do not drift. Do not hope. Act, strike, move, build, again and again, until your discipline becomes legend. Now declare it. Comment your phrase of relentless action, something sharp enough to burn into your memory. Something like, I move when others freeze. I strike when others sleep. I rise because I refuse to stop. Or better, craft your own. Let it become your battle cry. Number 6, the art of controlled presence. Presence is silent power. Not noise, not arrogance, not desperate displays. True presence is the weight you carry into a room before you speak a word. It is the gravity that pulls attention without demanding it. Controlled presence is not built overnight, nor is it granted by luck. It is forged deliberately through discipline, through composure, through mastery of the self. And make no mistake, if you wish to become untouchable after losing everything, you must learn to cultivate the art of controlled presence. Machiavelli understood appearances. He wrote that men judge more by what they see than by what they truly know. Most never pierce beyond the surface. That is why presence is crucial. It is your armor in public. It is your weapon against uncertainty. It is the mask that shields your strategy and the aura that announces your strength. The first law of presence is mastery of stillness. Weak men reveal themselves through nervous movement, endless chatter, restless energy. They cannot sit in silence. They cannot stand in calm. But the man who has mastered stillness radiates control. His posture is straight, his breath steady, his eyes observant. He does not fidget, he does not rush. He moves deliberately, like a general surveying his battlefield. Presence begins here, in the quiet command of your body. The second law is mastery of voice. You need not speak often, but when you do, every word must carry weight. A voice that is steady, calm, and measured silences a room more effectively than one that shouts. The man of presence speaks less, but with purpose. He knows that silence builds tension, and his words release it with precision. Every phrase is an arrow. He wastes none. He aims each one. The third law is control of energy. People feel energy before they process words. Desperate energy repels. Calm certainty attracts. Controlled presence is rooted in composure, the ability to project stability regardless of chaos. Imagine a storm raging around you. Most men flail, they panic, they reveal fear, but the man of presence stands unshaken. His calmness becomes contagious. Others look to him even without asking. They align themselves to his gravity because stability is rare and presence provides it. The fourth law is restraint. Weak men overshare. They reveal every thought, every plan, every insecurity. They cannot hold silence, so they spill themselves out in a desperate bid to be understood. But the man of presence is guarded. He reveals little, only what serves his vision. He withholds more than he shares, allowing mystery to cloak him. Mystery is power. When others cannot predict you, they cannot control you. When they cannot read you, they cannot prepare for you. Controlled restraint makes you unreadable, and unreadable men are dangerous. The fifth law is timing. Presence is not constant display, it is strategic. The lion does not roar all day, he roars only when he must. Likewise, the man of presence knows when to step forward and when to remain in the shadows. He observes the moment. He holds back while others burn themselves out with noise, and when the time is right, he advances, he speaks, he acts. That timing magnifies his impact. A single move from a man of presence carries the force of 1,000 wasted gestures from the undisciplined. The sixth law is mastery of emotion. Presence shatters when emotion leaks, anger that erupts uncontrolled, fear that trembles through posture, pride that demands validation, desire that clings. All of these weaken presence. But when emotions are harnessed, when they are felt but not revealed, presence becomes unshakable. You may feel the fire, but you do not show the blaze unless it serves your strategy. You may feel the storm, but outwardly you remain calm seas. People cannot pierce a mask of composure. They respect it, and they fear it. The seventh law is alignment. Presence cannot be a performance. It must flow naturally from who you are becoming. If you are disciplined in private, that discipline bleeds into public presence. If you are chaotic in private, your mask will eventually crack. The oak grows from roots unseen. Likewise, presence grows from habits built in silence. Your posture when alone, your routines when unseen, your discipline when unobserved. These create the foundation of presence. What is built in secret is revealed in public. The eighth law is reputation. Presence maintained consistently over years hardens into reputation. Reputation moves ahead of you. It shapes how people see you before you even enter a room. Machiavelli warned rulers to guard their reputation as carefully as their thrones, for reputation often determines victory before battles are fought. Your presence today builds your reputation tomorrow. Every interaction, every appearance, every silence contributes. Guard it, shape it, make it an extension of your sovereignty. The ninth law is influence. Presence is not about vanity, it is about leverage. When your presence is controlled, others unconsciously calibrate themselves to you. Your composure makes them reveal their instability. Your silence makes them fill the void with confessions. Your calmness exposes their anxiety. Influence is not always active. Sometimes it is passive. It is the gravity of your being pulling others into orbit. A man of presence does not need to chase influence. Influence is drawn to him. The 10th law is detachment. Never become addicted to your mask. Presence is a tool, not your identity. The danger of controlled presence is arrogance. The belief that appearance alone is enough. But presence must always be backed by substance. Continue to grow, continue to sharpen, continue to master yourself beneath the surface. Presence is the shadow of discipline, not the replacement for it. When substance strengthens, presence follows. When substance decays, presence collapses. Controlled presence is not about intimidation. It is about inevitability. It is about being unshakable when others falter, deliberate when others scatter, composed when others panic. It is the quiet power of a man who does not need to prove anything because his very existence radiates proof. So now engrave this truth into yourself. You need not demand respect. You need not beg for attention. You need not raise your voice to be heard. When your presence is controlled, the world listens before you speak. The world aligns itself to your gravity without you asking. That is power. That is sovereignty. That is the art of controlled presence. Now it is your turn. Write your phrase of presence in the comments. Not mine, yours. Something sharp, something undeniable. Something like, I do not chase attention. I command it, or craft your own, and let it become the anchor of your gravity. Number 7. The sovereignty of self-mastery. Power over others is fragile. It can be stripped by betrayal, toppled by fortune, dismantled by shifting alliances. But power over yourself, that is sovereignty. That is the throne no rival can overthrow, the empire no storm can touch, the crown no hand can steal. After losing everything, self-mastery is not just an advantage. It is your foundation. It is the only power that endures when the world takes all else from you. Machiavelli studied rulers who relied on fortune, on armies, on allies. Those rulers fell the moment fortune turned or loyalty broke. But the ruler who governed himself, his appetites, his impulses, his mind, that ruler could endure any shift of circumstance. You must become that ruler. You must become sovereign over yourself. The first law of self-mastery is the command of thought. Your mind is your fortress. But for most men, it is overrun with chaos. Doubt infiltrates, weak beliefs whisper, distraction storms the gates. They lose this battle daily because they never even recognize it exists. But you will sharpen awareness. You will watch your thoughts as a king watches his borders. You will not allow weakness to linger unchallenged. You will interrogate impulses, dismantle illusions, destroy lies, replace them with principles that sharpen you. The mind is the general. If it falters, the entire army falls. Rule your mind, and the rest will obey. The second law is mastery of the body. Your body is not decoration. It is the vessel of your will. A weak body shackles a strong mind. Fatigue clouds judgment. Weakness limits capacity. Neglect erodes discipline. Self-mastery demands you treat your body as a fortress, trained, resilient, relentless. Strength is not vanity. It is practicality. A strong body endures longer, resists harder, executes faster. You cannot claim sovereignty while enslaved to laziness, to exhaustion, to fragility. Build your body until it becomes a reflection of your rule. Each rep, each mile, each strike is not exercise, it is law. The third law is mastery of desire. Desire is the leash most men never see. They are pulled by appetites, for pleasure, for validation, for approval, for comfort. The sovereign is not pulled. He chooses. He is not numb. He feels desire fully. But he controls it absolutely. He indulges only when it serves his vision. He delays gratification when needed. He denies indulgence when it weakens him. This is not suppression. This is command. To feel hunger and not be ruled by it, that is sovereignty. The fourth law is mastery of time. Time is the most ruthless tyrant. It bends for no one. It slips through weak hands as they waste it on trivialities. But the sovereign treats time as gold, guarded, invested, multiplied. He does not kill hours. He sharpens them. He bends them into stepping stones. Every moment serves the vision. Every routine feeds the empire. Time wasted is sovereignty stolen. Guard it with the vigilance of a king protecting his crown. The fifth law is mastery of response. The world will strike you. People will test you. Chaos will erupt. Weak men react blindly, exploding with anger, collapsing in fear, drowning in impulse. The sovereign does not react. He responds. He chooses his movements with precision. He holds his ground in storms, speaks with calm in conflict, advances with calculation in crisis. His restraint is not passivity, it is dominance. For the man who rules his response rules the outcome. The sixth law is mastery of alignment. Most men fracture themselves. They act one way in private, another in public. They bend to every crowd, shift for every environment. They are divided, and divided men are weak. The sovereign is whole. He lives by the same code in silence as he does in noise. His words, actions, and principles align. He does not bend to circumstance. He bends only to his purpose. That alignment creates unshakable stability. Others see it, feel it, and cannot ignore it. Understand this. Sovereignty is not perfection. It is progression. No man masters himself in a day. Sovereignty is built decision by decision, moment by moment. Each time you rule yourself instead of yielding, you strengthen your crown. Each time you break, you weaken it. Kings who stop ruling lose their thrones. So too with you. Self-mastery requires vigilance. It requires daily rule. The beauty of sovereignty is liberation. When you master yourself, you are no longer enslaved to the world. You do not need validation. You do not need applause. You do not need constant approval or guidance. You listen, but you do not bow. You learn, but you do not bend. You take what serves you, discard what weakens you, and continue forward. You are a ruler, not a subject, even in a world designed to pull you into submission. From this sovereignty, true influence is born. People recognize a man who commands himself. He cannot be bribed by comfort, cannot be baited by insults, cannot be bent by temptation. He does not chase, he attracts. He does not shout, he is heard. He does not beg, he decides. In a world of men without crowns, sovereignty makes you rare, and rarity is power. But sovereignty is not isolation. It does not mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means ruling yourself so completely that you engage with the world from a position of dominance, not dependence. Others look to you, not because you demanded it, but because your command of self makes you magnetic. Your leadership becomes natural, your presence becomes undeniable. That is the paradox. By mastering yourself, you shape the world around you without needing to control it directly. Machiavelli wrote that fortune may betray, allies may falter, armies may fail, but no man can dethrone himself if he refuses to yield. That is why sovereignty is the highest power. Wealth can be stolen, armies can be defeated, reputation can be slandered, but self-mastery cannot be touched by outside forces. Your empire is within, your throne is discipline, your crown is mastery, and your reign is eternal because it does not depend on shifting ground. Now hear this truth. Sovereignty will demand more from you than anything else. It will require the killing of weakness, the burning of indulgence, the destruction of illusions. It will demand vigilance in silence, discipline in secrecy, clarity in solitude. But the reward is unbreakable power, the kind that no betrayal, no storm, no loss can erase. So now I ask you, declare it. Write in the comments your law of sovereignty, not a cliche, not borrowed words. Your declaration, something like, I rule myself. I bow to no weakness. My empire is within, or better, craft your own law. A phrase that when you read it weeks from now, you will remember the exact moment you crowned yourself ruler of your destiny. Number 8, the law of becoming untouchable. They will test you. They will doubt you. They will expect you to collapse like the countless men before you who crumbled under weight, fear, or loss. But the man who becomes untouchable does not break. He does not bend to storms, betrayal, or misfortune. He does not build his strength on fragile foundations. He builds it within. He forges it through fire, solitude, and discipline. To become untouchable is to construct a fortress inside yourself so impenetrable that no external force can destroy it. Untouchable men are not gods. They bleed, they suffer, they lose, but they rise regardless. What makes them different is not immunity from pain, but sovereignty over response. They face storms that annihilate others, yet walk through the wreckage with calm eyes and steady steps. Why? Because they understand a principle most men never learn. True power is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to remain unshaken by it. Machiavelli wrote that men who depend on fortune collapse when fortune abandons them. But men who anchor their power in themselves endure even the cruelest changes of fate. Becoming untouchable means building a life that cannot be stolen because its roots are within your mind, your body, your discipline, and your vision. The first pillar of being untouchable is indifference to opinion. Weak men live and die by the judgment of others. They crave approval, drown in criticism, and chase applause. But untouchable men know that the world is fickle. Crowds cheer one day and betray the next. Praise is air, it cannot feed you. To be untouchable, you must sever dependence on validation. You listen, but you do not bend. You hear, but you do not crave. Your compass is not their voices, it is your vision. The man who rules himself does not beg for the world's crown. He wears his own. The second pillar is mastery of loss. You will lose. Everyone does. Wealth, relationships, opportunities, all can vanish. Most men collapse when they lose because their identity was tied to possession. But you must become different. You must learn to rise sharper with every loss. Each collapse becomes a forge. Each ending becomes a foundation. When the world sees ashes, you see fuel. You master loss by refusing to let it define you. You use it as the weight that strengthens your core. Untouchable men are forged in the ruins of what they once had. The third pillar is command of solitude. Most men cannot stand alone. They require distraction, noise, company to keep them from facing their own reflection. But solitude is where power is built. It is where clarity forms, where strategy sharpens, where discipline hardens. To become untouchable, you must not only endure solitude, you must embrace it. You must turn silence into your training ground. When others wither in isolation, you will rise, because you will no longer need the world to feed you. The fourth pillar is control of emotion, the armor we forged before. Anger, fear, pride, desire. These are the chains that make men predictable, bendable, weak. Untouchable men do not destroy their emotions, they harness them. Anger fuels discipline, fear points to growth, desire sharpens focus, pride becomes quiet confidence. Nothing leaks, nothing controls them. Their composure makes them unpredictable, and unpredictability is untouchable. The fifth pillar is discipline of action. Untouchable men are not dreamers, lost in thought. They act relentlessly, without hesitation. While others wait for permission, they strike. While others hesitate, they advance. Their consistency builds inevitability. They do not stop when motivation dies. They do not falter when the path grows heavy. They move every day, carving their strength into reality until nothing can stand against the weight of their persistence. The sixth pillar is strategic detachment. Untouchable men do not cling, not to people, not to possessions, not to outcomes. They move with cold clarity, adapting, adjusting, advancing regardless of what falls away. Detachment does not mean apathy, it means sovereignty. It means you are prepared to walk alone if necessary, to cut what weakens you, to release what distracts you. This detachment makes you flexible where others are rigid, calm where others panic, untouchable where others break. The seventh pillar is presence with gravity. Untouchable men do not shout to be heard. They do not beg for attention. Their presence commands naturally because it is built on discipline, composure, and confidence. People feel it, the silent gravity of a man who does not need to prove himself. He speaks less, but when he does, his words carry weight. He moves deliberately, and others align to his energy. This presence is not a mask. It is the outward reflection of inward mastery. The eighth pillar is clarity of purpose. Without purpose, men scatter. They chase distractions, indulge in weakness, drown in chaos. But untouchable men carve a single aim, a ruthless vision that defines every move. Purpose is their compass. Every action, every choice, every step is aligned. When storms strike, purpose keeps them straight. When temptations whisper, purpose keeps them sharp. Their clarity makes them immovable, and immovable men cannot be touched. You've walked through fire, through silence, through loss, and now you stand forged. Remember this, power is not given, it is taken within. Each day you rule yourself. Each moment you sharpen discipline. You carve the law of untouchability into your very being. Fortune may shift, people may betray, the world may turn against you, but none of it matters because you rise, always. Now leave your final phrase of power in the comments below. Then like this video, subscribe to Psych Rhythm, and turn on notifications. Your rise has begun, and nothing can stop it.